I can't see. I'm trying to look at everybody here. Oh, Tracy.
I really liked hearing Joe talk about when they asked people what was good and what was bad about doing it on Zoom. And I really like the 5 positives. That was really, I think that's a good activity to do with the chorus, because not all of us like Zoom. Some of us do it all day long, but we miss our chorus peeps. And this would be, I don't know, I just feel it would be a good group building skill to do. Like maybe even just do a poll, like have the president send out, hey, I want 5 goods, 5 bads, or 2 goods and 2 bads. I really liked that.
Well, you'll get a chance to do that very activity shortly. For all of you that are in attendance. Great segue. Tracy, Marion Devakaitis had her hand up.
Yeah, you were asking about what we thought about all of this, and as Karen knows, I've been around a very long time. 41 years, I think this year, 41 or 42 years this year. But we're sitting here and we've been sitting for so many things coming up, but this presentation to this point, and I'm sure continued on, has been just fabulous, I think, for all of us. Just fabulous for the leadership to know, to look at everything and go, okay, I'm really on the right track there. I'm really doing okay. And also to think, gee, that I wasn't quite doing that right. Maybe I could approach this a little differently. And I just have to say, I think this is so fabulous because we have musical and administrative together, that's who run, basically running your chorus. So I'm loving it. That's all I want to say.
Great, Marion. Thank you. This is Gail's baby. She's wanted this.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
I want you to know this is her work.
And that's the second time I saw that presentation, because Gail had showed it to the group, and I can't wait to show it to my chorus and see it again.
Yes,
it makes you feel good.
Marion. Beth.
Yeah, and can I just say that your region cares about you so much. I've had meetings and emails and even a Zoom with, Gail and Karen just preparing this day. And it's so obvious how much they love you and love the region and want whatever is best for you. So, congratulations to the region for doing this. And the networking, which we don't get to do really when we're together in person or at a contest or a school, but we can look in each other's faces and share ideas. Just to, if each of you put in the chat room, what was one of your favorite things you've done at a Zoom rehearsal so far? And we'd go home with all these ideas. Now, that's a lot of what this afternoon's about, but you're going to feel such a wealth of information. And so I just thank the region for doing this and including me. It's been great.
Good. Thank you, Karen.
Oh, I just wanted to say, as a leader, it's always great. Like the 10 commandments, those are all things that as leaders, we probably already know, but sometimes it's always good to remind yourself of them. Right. Because you get so weighed down in the weeds of other things, you forget, oh, I have to make sure I remember to do this, or, it's just, I'm thinking, I'm going to print it up and put it somewhere to remind myself, because you can get focused on only 5 of the 10 sometimes or whatever. And it's good to remind yourself. So I'm going to print it up. I'm going to give it to the chorus because, the chorus has a lot of leaders in it. We're a chorus of leaders really, but yeah, it's just good. And yeah, it's just really good to remind yourself that you have to remember all those things and allow yourself to screw up because we're human.
And there's going to be an evaluation that will come out after the fact to all the attendees. I'm telling Patty this for the first time. And I hope you'll I'll make sure that it's not ponderous or, it takes your afternoon to do it, certainly, but the point is really to give feedback to the event that people who, I know my friend Joe Osterhoff would be thrilled to get feedback from people that she doesn't know. I'm sure Karen would like feedback from her class as well. We all want that when we go out and teach. And also to help our Ed Committee and an RMT to continue to plan for things that will happen virtually and things that will eventually happen lively. So we want to, have as many tools as we can to try to keep feeding you what is helpful and practical and inspiring for you.
I want to say one thing that I think, but I could speak for Gail in saying, I think we were figuring, wow, if we get 35 people to this, that would be amazing.
Absolutely.
And it's over 70. And
Woo!
that just makes, both of us are like, whoa, you know? And so I'm hoping that we can come up with live events that will bring you out and we can share all this stuff. I mean, thank you all for, you know, as Karen said, taking your day, but I can't tell you how, I mean, we're blown away. We're just blown
Absolutely.
away.
All Sweeters, and like I was saying, is it's another Zoom thing for people. You know, and I'm
Yeah,
looking at
they're not-
people on the screen that are teachers and working from Zoom all day long and thinking, you know, it would be like, Mary, Mother of God, leave me alone for a day.
Are those of you on this Zoom familiar with the new thing we're going to try called Travel in Tune?
No, they're not familiar. I haven't, well, we sort of hinted at it once because we're in play. We are so ahead of ourselves in that we are in good shape. We already got a plan. We're good. Teachers.
Well,
Good.
let me just give a little plug for it because I was on the team that kind of created it and I'm so excited about it. In this world where we can't travel realistically to people's regions, we're going to travel virtually. And there's this program it's an app that you can download onto your phone or your iPad or whatever. And if you don't do that, you can get it at the website. Pardon me, but it's called Travel in Tune, and we're going to visit every region. Every region is being asked to come up with a little presentation, and some of it's fun and some of it's educational and some of it is to get to know them and their region, and I mean, help you place where these regions are in the world. I mean, if I said region 4 to you, do you know where that is? You know, do you know where region 31 is? So, I mean, how fun is that going to be to actually visit all these regions and have a little educational piece? And then you're going to have a virtual passport and you're going to get a stamp when you visited that region. Every region's coming up with their own, what their stamp is going to look like. I mean, down here in Florida is going to be a sunshine. And so it's going to be so fun. So stay tuned to that and then be ready to travel the world of Sweet Adelines.
I think ours is going to be snow and ice, right?
I was going to say ours can be a blizzard.
No, bad idea, Sweeters.
Speaking of that, since all the leaders are here, everyone look for email because this whole process we have to do, there's so many steps that we need to submit to international. And the first one is our theme. Karen, don't tell anybody.
I'm not saying a word. My lips are sealed.
Karen Bridard. Our theme is Everyone in Region 1 Matters because that's really important to our RMT. And so our promo is going to involve as many people in the region that want to be involved. So please be looking for an email this week on that because we got to get moving on that process. And you guys are the people that can share it with get people involved.
Well, Sue?
I just want to say, I have never in this, even though this last year has pretty much sucked in so many ways, I have never been given so many fabulous opportunities to not only Sweet Adeline related, but to like virtually go to different countries online and things like that for free and still sit in the comfort of my own home. And but I want a special thank you. And I'm hoping even once things open up and we're able to like get out and about safely, that our region, our RMT has done an amazing job keeping us engaged. And I look forward to next week. And because we have a whole series of classes going on all week long. And even when things kind of return to normal, I hope that doesn't end. I know it's a lot of work and effort, but the fact that we have continued to keep learning and to see each other and be one with one another, even though we can't do it in person, has been life-saving, truly, for me.
You know,
You know,
my husband is the president of his district now. And so it's been a challenging year for him in lots of ways. But we talked about the other day at lunch, and we've talked about it before, and I'm sure you have too. How many of the things that we've had to learn to do now will never go away because it's convenient, it's affordable, it's easy to come and go. It's easy to sit here and have your lunch and get a cup of coffee and not interrupt a room full of people. We had 76 people on this morning, and right now we have 64 returning. Some people had to leave, but this is recorded so they can watch it later or tomorrow afternoon, or share it with their courses. So there's a lot of elements of what we've had to do that I don't think are going to go away anytime soon, to be honest. That was a perfect segue. Thank you, Sue.
You're
Hey,
welcome.
Gail, before you move on, I just want to applaud you again, because when this Travel in Tune program was being thought up, Region 1 was mentioned. Because, you know, International's been trying to provide so much education, and we said, are you kidding? We can't compete with the wonderful information and education that the regions are doing. And the first comment was, yeah, like take Region 1, for example. And all the way back to your virtual regional contest and the classes and the way you've been staying in touch, the world has been watching. And you kind of helped this whole idea of the Travel in Tune. Let's praise and support the regions and what they're already doing.
Absolutely. And before I forget, since we have almost everybody here, I just want to thank Patty Levernovich for once again doing all the scut work to make the event happen, and for Beth and Patty for co-hosting and doing the techie stuff today. Thank you very much. Because I've written.
And I'm going to leave now, so I just want to send my love.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you,
Love you,
Karen.
Karen.
Love you. Look forward to the next time. Whenever we're together again and we can hug, look out, because I'm going to be slobbery. I'm going to be all over you.
Awesome. Bring it on.
Meantime,
Thanks, Karen.
Bring it on.
Thank you. Bless
Bye,
you.
Karen.
Bye, Bob.
Perfect. Excellent. So I just wanted to remember to thank those people, because I've had to ask Patty all sorts of dumb questions, and she's, I'm sure, rolled her eyes in private, but
Oh, no, not much.
I was going to say, but it's
private, Gail. I think she may have been rolling her eyes on screen.
Yeah.
Oh, the number of glasses of wine she owes me is just staggering.
Actually, we're almost up to a bottle. So we're going to now go to breakout rooms. And so, Patty, there's currently 63 people here. So looks like our plan holds just fine, which is great.
Yeah, well, what I did is I made up 8 rooms, and everybody will be automatically assigned. So it's about 8 people per room. And so when I click open, you should all go.
And if there's a leftover person, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, and I, just in case anybody asks, I did stop the recording at lunchtime, and then I just started it up for this discussion part. I have to pause it because there won't be anybody in this room. So let me pause that, and then I'll open up the breaks
for this discussion. And I asked that each room either pick or voluntold a leader to come back to our group discussion when this portion is done, to share your insights, your thoughts, your commentary. So it's not chaotic, it's valuable to all of us. And so if you want to write down the topics, the first topic is 3 negative things that came out of our time during the pandemic. 3 negative things that came out of our time during the pandemic. Okay. 3 positive things that came out of our time during the pandemic. And 3 things that have changed completely. Positive, negative, doesn't make any difference. 3 things that have changed completely. There are pens and pencils.
Do you mean for all time, or just for the
things that have changed completely?
To be defined
during this time.
Well, or permanently, you know, like we just talked about the Traveling in Tune International program. That's probably not going to go away, because why would it? You know, the cost effectiveness of that and the intimacy of that is very different. So yeah, things that have changed completely and in your opinion are here to stay. Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong at the end of the day, but that's your opinion. Everybody got that?
Yep.
And
So
we're
we're all
doing
going-
all three things, Gail? All three
Yes,
questions?
all three things, please, all three topics. And I allotted 30 minutes for the Zoom room, so because there's a lot of people in each room, so you all have plenty of time to kibitz and chat and empty your bladder if that's what you need to do. But please come back with a spokesperson for your group with your composite answers. And if your group has several different answers to the different things, that's perfectly fine. We
So
really want
back
to
at
hear.
about 5 after or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, we're a little bit, yeah, so about 5 after, Patty would be great, because we're a few minutes behind schedule.
Okay, here we go.
Time, but Patty, do we have a standard eval that you could send to me, or Beth, that you could send to me, so I'm going to tweak it a little for this event, but if I had something to start from, it would be
What do you mean a standard email?
evaluation. Sorry, I said eval.
Oh, evaluation. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the class evaluations
Is it on
from,
is it on our website?
yes.
Yes, and one person said yes, one person said no.
No, I'm sorry, I was
Class
just shaking my
evaluations,
head.
yes, are on our
Okay,
website.
thank you. I'll take care of it. Thank you very much. Most appreciated.
One unassigned participant. Well, you don't need to be assigned. Come back to us.
Come back. 46. We're climbing.
Room
And just-
4, they're still talking. That was my room, and I told them to wrap it up.
Patty, you have the power to close the rooms. You can just shut them down.
We're at 50.
Trying to be nice.
I can do it. Do you want me to do it?
You gave us
I'll do
notice.
it.
You can just close it down.
I feel like I'm watching the votes come in as the numbers keep climbing of people coming
Oh,
back in.
Beth did it. Beth is.
Where's Steve Karnacki when we need him?
I want my people back.
I think I'm the unassigned person because my computer kind of stopped working for a couple of minutes there and I had to log back in again.
You
That's just 'cause
you
your
froze,
cat
Sue.
went
We didn't laugh at all about that.
That's okay. We're all coming back anyway, so.
Yeah, it's good. Yep.
Thank
I
you.
know our group's going to be short one person. They had to go get their second vaccines.
Oh, well.
Numbers.
And we're at
What a lucky
56.
person.
I got number 1.
Did you really?
too.
I did.
I'm impressed that you
But
could find
Karen, you're
sleep.
not old enough to do that. How'd you
Yeah,
get in there?
Oh, thank you, Linda.
Yeah, she lives in Connecticut and they have their act together.
Yeah.
Rhode Island.
Yes.
Buttering her up,
As opposed to Idaho, my parents are 85 and they just got their first one and they
You're
aren't going to get their
kidding.
second one for another month. No.
Oh, as
Wow.
anybody living on the Cape too, they're having a terrible, terrible time.
Yeah.
Connecticut,
Yeah, I know,
I have to say,
Massachusetts.
it's been pretty damn good.
Connecticut.
Yeah. Well, Connecticut got an A from the Harvard Medical Board, whatever it's called. And Rhode
Yeah.
Island and Massachusetts got an F.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
Well,
heard
I'm
Rhode
having
Island really is not doing well.
No,
Oh,
my
Island's
mom
like
is
the
80.
third lowest.
My mom is 88, but where she lives, because my mother being 88, she thought, because this is generational, that the government would just come to her apartment building and knock on her door and give her a shot. And my brothers and I are like, Mom, for God's sakes, and laughing at her and laughing at her behind her back. Well, don't you know, everyone in the building got a letter that CVS was coming to the building.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
The community room.
wow.
They had to
That's
make an
great.
appointment. And then
Oh,
she got her
yeah.
first shot. She got her first shot last Saturday and she gets her second shot at the end of this month. And I texted my brothers, I said, so much for laughing at Mom.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
We've
Yeah.
both had our first shots and the second ones are going to be on the 24th. And it was extremely well organized. We were very impressed.
Yeah, my mom was too. Her appointment was for 11:45 and they sent around a note the day before saying, if this goes well, it could be earlier, so be ready. And she got a call at 10 after 10 that they were ready for it. She could come down. Yep. Yep. So, and she's really grateful because she's been nervous about, I mean, she's healthy as a plow horse, but she was just nervous about, getting vaccinated. And I'm glad that she is because, it's better for everybody involved.
If
So I
you
think,
know anyone who's, just a little PSA here, if you know anyone who's close to being, who's on the cusp of possibly being able to get it, like my mother-in-law is 74, and when they had the 75 and overs, they take out a certain number of doses every morning. And a lot of people actually don't show up for their appointments.
Right.
And those doses expire and they can't be used after that day. So if you know anyone who knows anyone, my husband was able to call his mother and say, we had a cancellation. We have a dose that's going to go bad. Get your ass up here. And he got her vaccinated sooner.
I'm on a waiting list at my.
So yeah, so
provider
try to
too,
get
so-
yourself on a
Wow.
waiting list, or if you know anyone, just keep that in mind
well, it's
because
good to know.
why waste them? They're perfectly happy to give it to someone not on the list so that it doesn't get wasted.
That's how my girlfriend in Seattle got hers. She's maybe 40 from work, maybe 40, 41, maybe. They had like 1,000 vaccines and they had to use them or they were going to go bad. So they put out a Facebook post, I think the hospital did, and they had like 4,000 people in line.
Wow.
There was I forget where it was, but there was a situation where there was a traffic jam and an ambulance that was transporting them got stuck and they got everybody out of their cars and gave them vaccinations on the
That's
highway.
awesome. That's awesome.
No, what this was, it was a refrigerator.
That's great.
It was a refrigerator truck.
It was a refrigerator that was losing
Oh,
temperature or
wow.
something.
Oh.
Yep.
It
So they
was-
had
Oh, that's a great story.
It was
Isn't that a great
American
story?
ingenuity at its best.
They went
Yeah.
car
It
to
sounds like
car.
something Sweet Adelines would have thought to do. All right,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Line up, roll up your sleeves.
Gail,
We're not
everybody's
gonna
back
waste
now.
them.
Thank you, Patty. Okay, everybody has here for the rest of the day is back, so that's great. I know some people had to leave, but it's recorded, and we'll remind people of that so they can catch up if they want. So let's start with if you could identify as your room leaders as we go. So we'll just start in order, and we had 8 rooms. Patty, am I right about that? Did you say? Okay, thank you. So we'll just start with room number 1, and who's the room leader for that? Please. Yep, Kathy. And if you would do, and unmute yourself, and if you would do topic number 1 first, please.
Okay. All right. So we came up with the instant connection that you get when you go to rehearsal. You can talk to somebody and say, hey, how things are going. And within 5 minutes, you can find out how things are. And is there problems going on in their house or whatever, how they're feeling, their mother's okay. But now it's a little harder. You have to make an appointment to see them. And it's a face-to-face thing too, that there was missing. Second thing was not practicing as much as you should be because there isn't any accountability because nobody's hearing you and your section leader's not hearing you and your director's not going, what the hell was that? So the accountability is kind of on your shoulders and that's a little slipping. Okay, the third thing, singing. Not hearing harmony really stinks. You can't hear the harmonies. That's what we're all about. Your chords are gone. You don't get to hear the harmonies. I won't tell you what I actually wrote, but that's okay. All right. And then we had a fourth one. Can we do that one too? Oh. Being at home, you don't get to get away from your home. You don't get to get away from your kids. You don't get away from your husband. You don't get away from the dishes. You don't get away from anything. Your time is your time when you go to rehearsal. But when you don't go to rehearsal, you're home. You can't sing because your family's sitting right there and they're looking at you going, you're bothering me. Where's the TV? You know, and the dogs are running behind you and the kids are hooping and hollering and there is no time. You never get away. It's your time and that's missing. That's our 4. Thank you.
You're welcome. Excellent. And excellent. Thank you, Kathy. And room 1. Room 2, please.
I am representing room 2, Becky King. We had many of the same, so I don't think I'll repeat them, but a couple different. We have a decrease in participation from when we are in live rehearsals, a decrease in participation, Zoom fatigue type situations. Also, there has been somewhat of an attitudinal shift. It's a myth that we've lost much, that we don't have any goals. Why are we doing this? We talked a little about that earlier today, but that has taken over some of our chorus members' thoughts. The loss of the positive attitude. So those would be the couple of different ones that we had in addition to what Kathy already mentioned.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much. And thank you, Becky. And room number 3.
That was me. This is Laura Russell. Okay, agree with everybody so far. We talked all about that. Just the separation and like missing a regular chorus rehearsal week after week. And it's like, we don't even know what day it is anymore. And harmonizing and singing with actual voices, like that feeling of, when you're around others, really helps us to sing out. And we talked about that earlier this morning. And then a new idea that hasn't been mentioned yet would be the lack of public performances that a lot of choruses were able to get out, and the public performances then led to recruiting. So there's not been a lot of recruiting going on. It also was a fundraising piece for some of our choruses where they had a small entry fee for these public things, and so they're not seeing that. And also those public performances helped the members stay focused and set goals each week because they had something they were working towards.
I'm coming.
Okay, and room 4. Room 3. Where? Sorry, we have
room 4.
I guess that's a net.
Yep. Sorry, we have an event in here this afternoon. We've had almost no events, as you can imagine, all year, and it's a small, very small wedding. And Mike was just asking if he can vacuum soon. Sure.
We're on room 4, I think.
Room 4. I thought we were room 4
Mine.
too. Room 4.
Carol Lee Mensing, and we agree with the other ones. Plus, we also had beginning to notice a personal physical stamina loss, and vocal production really sucks on our own right now because we haven't been doing the best we could.
That sucks word is getting used a lot today.
It is. It certainly is. I thank you, Carol Lee. And room 5.
That's us. This is Valerie. We had members from 4 different choruses, which was cool, talking. So basically reiterating what everyone just said, although there was a consensus to a certain extent that one of the choruses felt as though they had lost members because people just weren't into the whole virtual thing.
Yep. Room 6. On mute,
Margaret, you're on mute.
There we go. Adding to the list, but primary was a big one. Not everyone can or wants to Zoom. Technology is a challenge for a lot of members. Also came up the challenge of change in leadership under a pandemic, especially for choruses. And adding to the stamina issue, it's not just the physical stamina, it's the drive to keep singing. It's been easier to stop the longer that we're here.
And thank you, Margaret. And room number 7.
That would be me, Chris. So one of the cute ones to start with is learning how to unmute was a negative. We talked about kind of like 2 populations in the chorus. Some folks that have no inertia because they're home all the time, not doing a lot. So getting up the energy to do something is harder. But then we have the other groups like school teachers or people with young children who are so overbooked right now, you can't possibly ask them to do one thing more. And then the other thing that we had that wasn't mentioned yet is forming quartets or recruiting quartet members is very difficult in a pandemic. So those are the things we had that were new.
Thank you, Chris. And room number 8, please.
Wendy Cudmore. We had a lot of the same ones. Can't sing out fully at home because there's other people listening. There were some membership issues, attendance issues mentioned, missing the harmony. And then the last one, which people have referred to, but finding people are struggling with depression for a variety of reasons, but they can't do the Zoom because they're on it all day or they just can't deal with it. Holidays magnified that kind of depression. People feel like the situation is sort of out of their control. They've been disempowered by the pandemic. And there was a mention that there seemed to be a lack of understanding for essential workers who were out working all day and come back and just can't deal with a Zoom again at night, so.
Yep.
Similar.
Excellent. And that was room number 8, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Wendy. And so back to room number 1 for the second question.
Gail?
Yes, sorry.
Maybe we can go the other way.
Yeah, go 8
How
to
about we
1.
go with them? Sorry?
Go 8 to 1.
I was just thinking that. Great, get out of my head. I told you we all spend too much time together.
Know, right?
Yes, room number 8.
Okay, I'm on again. So the positives, one was a social.
you get to see the faces that you don't always see when you're singing on the risers, because hopefully you're looking at the director. The other thing is that we found that when you had 10 or 15 minutes of social hour, it's not just with 1 or 2 people as it might be at the beginning of chorus, but you actually got to talk to 15 or 20 or however many are on the Zoom, so that you're getting to know more of the chorus in a deeper way. That was also true for regional. We've said we've gone on regional events and you've been able to make connections with regional people that normally you just smile and go, hi, at a regional event, but you actually get to chat with them. Second, technology and education. We've been able to expand our knowledge by using the technology effectively, more opportunities both from the regional and international level as well as chorus level to do that, less cost, less travel. And there's, what did I write? Oh, someone mentioned that the chorus directors could put interpretation on the screen to help those people who are visual learners. So that was mentioned. And the last thing was, lots of new music. We've learned lots of new music during the pandemic. We're not as focused on contest music, so you can learn new things and spend time developing your repertoire.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Wendy. Group 7.
That's Chris again. Folks can make rehearsals more readily when it's on Zoom. They don't have to worry about travel. They don't have to worry about where they are. Folks have used Zoom for joint sessions between 2 choruses or with a faculty member or a judge to bring in for educational purposes. Self-learners, they've been able to strengthen their skills to learn on their own and be more independent. Bringing in new tools, seeing all the faces, and the breakout sections for sectionals have been very effective.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. And room number 6.
Margaret. Creativity, creating activities that are engaging and keep us wanting to come back. Definitely educational opportunities and emerging leadership opportunities. People who have not had the opportunity are showing their skills and being called upon more.
Excellent. Thank you, Margaret. Room number 5.
Valerie.
Valerie.
One of the kind of the web of the whole thing that we found, we did have 3 positives, but was this sort of the technology has forced us to be compassionate in a way that we wouldn't have been before. So we're reaching out to members maybe that didn't show up to chorus, but now you've got all these ways to send them a card or check in on them or different things like that, not in a pressure situation, but just to be more aware of what's really going on. And again, the whole creative idea of how can we do things differently? How can we be inclusive? That we felt was really important. And that it's about this camaraderie. It's about a connection. Even though we're disconnected, we're connected in more ways than we know.
Agreed. Agreed. Thank you, Valerie. Group 4.
Carol Lee. I think we felt like the region has really become a very connected community, and we're loving that some people that we don't get to see routinely, we now get to see. And we talked about, we've spent very little money and gotten a lot of education, and I think our resources have been good, and our dues were reduced, and we still are experiencing very positive education.
Yep. Thank you, Carol Lee. And in room number 3, am I right? Room 3? Yep, thanks.
A lot of what has already been said. And this is the juxtaposition of what somebody said earlier about the accountability piece. We actually talked about that. We thought the Zoom was causing people to be more accountable because we're seeing our faces and, oh, we need to be lifted there. And also using learning tracks. We're being held accountable for, this staying in tune and that kind of thing. So that's like a silver lining that's come out of the people that are wanting to learn and putting the time in are finding that they're singing more in tune. And then the only other sort of new idea, and it was touched on a little bit, was usually at rehearsals, a lot falls to the director. And so there's like this weight to the director, but that a lot of people have risen to, we've discovered new talents and people's interests. And so the directors are getting supported in ways that we may not have discovered had this never happened.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much, Laura. Room 2, please.
Okay, back to me. Again, we've covered most everything here. We talked about getting to know each other on a more personal level. Yes, we have these social hours, but we're also having special spotlight moments. We're getting to know people. What are your hobbies? Oh, you have, 6 dogs, and oh, look at your home. Your home is beautiful. I didn't know this about you. So not only are we getting to chat with everyone, but we're getting to know them on a deeper level than we ever have before. I think that would be the prime different one that we had.
Excellent. Thank you, Becky. And room 1.
Well, pretty much everything is the same. We've got, the only thing I think we've got is the travel time is gone. There is no travel time. When rehearsal starts at 7:30, it starts at 7:30. There is no travel time, and you don't have to worry about the weather. People going out, afterwards, the director's sitting there going, oh God, it's still snowing. Oh God, it's still snowing. Do we let them go or don't we let them go? Which makes when you don't have to worry about that, I think you get more done. And the other thing that we thought about was showmanship is better. We have several people in my chorus that don't like to look at themselves in the mirror. They just don't. Yeah, there are those people out there, Miss Beth.
Hard to believe.
And I'll tell you, it's really, hush you two, it's really hard to get them to do that. But this has really made it a lot easier to look. And not only that, I can see Carol Lee smiling over there, and I can see Laura, and you can see the people that you have never seen before while you're singing. And it helps you with your, the lifted and the showmanship and that whole thing, and just being a little more free.
Excellent. Thank you,
Allowing that
Kathy.
to happen.
That was excellent. Okay, and our last topic is 3 things that have changed completely. And so we're going to start this last topic with room number 5. Yes, Valerie.
I think one quick one was that meetings can be forever changed and be online, and they're far easier. No one has to drive. Everybody's on time. Just, it's going to be an awesome tool to have a virtual connection to anywhere in the world. That'll be a norm and not an oddity. And then I think the biggest thing that we really felt was that we can no longer say, but we always did it that way. Now we can step back and say, yeah, but. So that's sort of taken this veil off of being stuck in one place, and we can look at our chorus world without blinders and say, yeah, guess what? We can do it this way and this way. And that's brought this sort of joy of music and sisterhood and letting go of the rules and this pressure and all that stuff that us goal-oriented people bring, because that's who we are in these meetings right here, and just say, we're here for the sisterhood. That's really what we have figured out from this, that there's a joy and a sisterhood that has kept us together. It's
Excellent.
the music.
It is. Excellent. Thank you, Valerie. Room number 2.
Okay, we use the term necessity is the mother of invention, the phrase that we have gotten so creative, and I know Valerie talked about that. We have stepped outside our comfort zones. People that did not spend a lot of time on computers have taken the time to learn and stepped outside their comfort zone. There are no more canceled rehearsals due to poor weather. That has changed. And the easy and instant access to education at all levels, all across the world, that's a huge benefit that we have come across. And one of the other things is Zoom is a great equalizer for all of us. There's no physical preconceived notions about anyone. There's no visual. We're all just here together on this as an equal square on that chart there. So increased outreach within choruses, within the region, and within the world of Sweet Adelines. That has changed. And we've actually in some ways have found an increase in confidence. Some members have gone the other way, but some members have actually found the joy not only in singing, but in the learning and being together. That's
Cool.
our list.
Thank you, Becky. That was a good list too. Wow. And room number 8. I like to surprise everybody now.
Thank you. I had to unmute. We talked about, I'm not going to repeat ones I've already said, virtual option for future regional or weekends, so that people who financially or time-wise couldn't commit to a whole weekend would still be able to take advantage of the educational opportunities. The biggest one we mentioned was the strength of our region and how important the positive connections within Sweet Adelines are, and that's really helping all of us survive this pandemic. And the RTM and its creativity was greatly praised. So I will end there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And room number 3, please.
Okay, mostly you guys touched on everything, but just to spin off a little bit, one of our folks said that their chorus was going to keep a Zoom once a month going forward, because they felt like it was a great opportunity to, to bring in a way of learning all this stuff that we've talked about all day. Like, why not stay on that, in that vein? And certainly I wouldn't be surprised if SAI puts together a library of a lot of this stuff that's been recorded over the last year, and we can pull from that. And if it's a snow night or this chorus that wants to continue the once a month Zoom, that's a great platform to review or revisit some of these things that were from wonderful coaches and judges that we all admire, that we otherwise couldn't afford, right?
Right. That is something that's actually in the works, Laura.
Yeah,
I'm
not surprised.
Probably not going to be till maybe 2022 when all is said and done, but it is actually on the,
I bet, yeah,
on the international drawing board. Thank you. Room number 6.
That's me. Just elaboration on a couple of things. The ease of meetings with Zoom is going to make collaboration infinitely easier. We're going to find out that sharing our music is how we share it is going to take new forms. We're already doing that with digital, but it's going to happen when we start singing outdoors again. How, where, and whom we share to is going to be different and offer us many more options. And finally, we've all come away with a new awareness and appreciation of each other and this hobby that we do. We're not letting it go, and we're not letting each other go.
Indeed. Thanks, Margaret. Room number 4.
That's me. And I think the biggest was the awareness of the sheer joy of singing barbershop and missing the singing of barbershop together. It sounds so small, and yet it's such a big part of many of our lives, and we're missing that. We're happy to have that back again when we have the end of this.
Indeed. Indeed. Thank you, Carolee. And room number 1.
Well, the only thing I can do is elaborate on that whole sharing of information, both regionally and between the choruses. Choruses can share coaches, and it doesn't cost you thousands of dollars to bring somebody in, but you can share it between 2 choruses if you're, small enough, and it just opens the borders. Even between regions, share something with region 15 and, wherever. So I think that's just it. The sharing of information with the open borders. I think that's going to be great.
That's a great expression, Kathy. I was just thinking I would never have been able to have Joe Osterhoff come to my chorus to do that presentation. If it weren't for this, we couldn't have afforded it. I mean, they bring me there, but I'm there for a month and I'm shared by 6 or 7 groups, and you're right. And opening the borders is such a great, I hadn't thought of that, a great expression. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. That wasn't mine. That was Karen Sweeters that said, opening the borders. I just did the writing.
Well, she's not here apparently. You can take the credit,
I won't steal her thunder.
And that was room 1 of my.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I wrote it down. You'd think I'd pay attention. And lastly, but not leastly, room number 7.
That would be me. Keeping up with the new tools, bringing the new tools into the new setting, varying the rehearsals. We've used a lot of fun things to make the rehearsals more varied, to continue to do that once we're in the hall. And then, as was mentioned earlier, all these educational recordings that are going to be put in the library, make sure that we call on those in the future and bring those back to the rehearsal setting. Those are the things that we had.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. And thank you. Thank you all so much for actually diving into this. I wasn't sure if it was going to feel like, oh, for God's sakes, Gail, we have to talk about our feelings, for heaven's sakes. So I didn't want it to be that any of that huggy harmony crap, but I wanted us to come away with some real concrete things that we all recognize and can share. I just had a note in my chat from Carol Lee in my own chorus that said, we need to do this in our own chorus at a rehearsal one night, this very exercise. And I think that's a great idea. So we have, Sweeters had to step out, and I don't know that she'll step back in, but so this ends the formal part of the day. I want to thank you all for coming to yet again another Zoom event. I know it's tough for lots of you, but I found this to be very rewarding personally, and I hope for all of you. And this is something for you to take back to your own courses, because we need to be fed these positive boosts as often as possible. And the more sincere they are, the more impact they have, as opposed to just coming up with some, as I said, and you're all making fun of me now, huggy harmony crap, hoping that it works. This is all genuine from your collective hearts and minds and experiences. So that's really important. There will be an eval that will come out in the next couple of days, and I hope that you'll take a few minutes to fill it out. As I said, it helps those of us that are creating things, think of things to create, and your input goes into a lot of these events. I know that What a Pile of Craft Week has got a lot going on, which is, there's something there for everybody. Great name.
That is such a great flipping name.
It really is. I wish
Thank you, Karen Sweeters.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
Gems.
I know, of course.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, had to be.
Absolutely.
And Lala, of course, Lala did the fantastic
graphics. Speaking of Sweeters, as if on cue, here she is.
Unmute.
You're on mute. You're muted.
I'm sorry, my son came over and he brought me some rug samples, so I had to pay attention.
Oh, that.
And there was a little exchange of Valentine things. So
nice.
So
say
huggy
harmony crap was happening behind our back.
Yeah, really.
Marion has her hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, Laura Russell, you asked for Jean Barford's thing. Maggie found it in her file. She sent it to me. I sent it to Karen Sweeters because I don't know who to send it to, but I don't know where that should go because it's the exact exercise. So I don't know where that should go. Karen, can you just get it out to?
Sweeters, if you have it right now, you can attach it in the chat if you have it.
You're talking to Karen, right? Not me.
To Karen.
That's good. Good, Beth. Good choice.
Yes, but that's Karen how to do that.
Karen, if you want to send it, if you want to send it to me,
I'm going to give it to Patty to put
I
on
knew
the
it.
website.
There you go.
well, that way, I mean, that it's great to put it in the chat, but also some people, a bunch of people had to leave. So we'll, I'll just email it out to all the participants.
Can you send it out with the eval?
Yep. Sure. We'll send it out with an eval so we don't clutter up your inbox.
What a great idea.
And we'll get it. We'll put it up under some documents or something.
Yeah, it'll be on. Yeah.
That would be great.
Is it a document or a video? What is it?
A document. It was from Jean Barford, so it's definitely a document.
Oh, okay.
Oops, I said that on my out loud.
We love you, Jean.
I know I have that handout in my files somewhere. I still have hard copy of that very handout. So
I'm sure
don't
I
laugh.
do. I'm sure I do too. I know I do somewhere. If only if only it was organized as Maggie, you could actually find it. That
Yeah,
would
she
be,
found it right away, so that was good.
She's a baritone.
I used to be a baritone, but
Yeah,
I was
you did.
I was misplaced for a long time. So the room is going to remain open until
I'm always misplaced.
the room is going to stay open until 2 o'clock. So you're welcome to continue to chat, continue to compare notes. Bye, Laura. She left. She had to go. I know many of you do, but I'm so appreciative of you all showing up and contributing so much to all of the conversations, and I certainly hope that you find your way to taking this back to your courses, so that because I mentioned, as you saw in my presentation with Joe earlier, that one of the courses I visited was not happy. They were struggling to make this all feel right, and that's certainly reasonable and understandable. But anything we can do to help people keep the faith, which is what Joe called her presentation, I just think is invaluable, because there is light at the end of the tunnel. It may be a while, but it's there. You know, this is not going to last in this way for the rest of our lives, please God. So yeah, just I'm throwing that in just to be on the safe side. But yeah, so I just want to thank all of you again. Please, not that I'm going to harass you, but I might to fill out the evals just so we have some positive feedback going forward. Sweeters and I are working on a class for the new visual communications category.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
That's a great, I'll tell you.
my course just did my course just did a 2-night class with Sandy Wright. We had to do 2 nights because it was overwhelming. And I, as someone who's been doing this their whole life, basically, I feel overwhelmed and inspired and excited all in one swell swoop. So it's true. And it's long overdue. I have to say that. You know, Sandy opened up and I said this to my room, I apologize. Sandy opened up the seminar by saying to me, which I didn't know she was gonna do, how long have you been in the organization, Gail? And I said 47 years. And she said, and when was the last time the showmanship category was updated? And I looked at her and for a moment, I said, never. So here we are, but it's a lot to take in, and it's going to be a lot for us to all learn. Carolee's nodding, and yeah. So that's something that's in the works for.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna, after What a Pile of Craft Week. Okay, I love saying it, so just so you know, I'm gonna say it as often as I can.
You weren't here when we gave you full credit for the
we did. We did. We paid homage.
I was going to, this would be a good crew to ask. We were talking on my ed team about, these and I actually asked Island Grove when I was there. So they were sort of my test case. I said, what do you think about the weekly education? So Sue, I was very happy to hear that you really enjoy it. They said they felt 2 classes a night was a little too much because they wanted to go to everything and they were too exhausted. And so maybe it should be 1 night a week. And I was going to do try to create a
Karen, I'm sorry, do you mean 1 class
a night?
1 class a night.
Yeah.
Instead of 2. And so I think I'm going to try that for that week, but also it's very hard to do a visual week on Zoom. It just, every time I think about it, I think it's just really hard unless you show videos.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to and this was going to be the last week of March into April Fool's, that week. And I think I'm going to have Sandy come in since Gail had such good response to that in her chorus, that I think I'll have her do 2 nights that week so that we can really ask questions and get a lot of information. It's a lot because there's a lot of facets in that category. And I believe Sandy was one of the ones that created it.
Well, I asked her that very question at our second meeting, and she sent headquarters, unknowing that this was already in process. She was not actually involved in the bolts creation, but she had sent a lengthy letter and document to the judge specialist saying, we have to look at this. And she didn't know that it was already, she's thrilled that it was already in the works. So
great.
And we booked her for a rehearsal night, and her own course meets on Wednesday nights. So she was gracious enough to come. And we booked an hour, and an hour and 15 minutes in, I had to stop her and say, we got to find another night, because we all had a million questions.
Yeah.
And it was a lot to absorb. So we changed our night to Tuesday to accommodate her.
Well, I would probably think to get her for Tuesday and Thursday night. That way it sort of gives everybody a break. And then I want to
I
get,
mean, somebody rehearses on one of those nights, but you know.
right,
We'll
right.
figure it out.
Yep.
So, yeah, Kath.
I'll tell you, when it first came out, International put out a really good place to start. Let's put it that way. Judy Posgay, Anna Rosenberg, Becky
Yeah.
Hine, and Jana Gutenberg. The four of them were the ladies who really took the bull by the horns, not the balls. I mean, Jesus.
It's been a long day.
Where's your mind, girl? But they really put out a good place to start with this new category, and they each take a little piece and little piece and piece, and by the time they're done putting it all together, you at least get some semblance of what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And then I think if you're going to bring somebody in, that would be my suggestion, that folks take a look at that first.
It's a good idea.
Listen to it, and then to get a little bit of digestion first, and then they can devote, you know, when Sandy comes in, they can, regurgitate their,
you know, Kathy, when I book that, I would appreciate you reminding me of that so that I can send that out, because I will probably not remember that now.
Now, see, here's the sticky. Okay, that's going to write that. I'm gonna slap
there
that right up on the top of my desk.
That's
only raised ugly kids, okay? Just saying.
But just so you know, that I'm hoping is coming. And I will probably not have educational things over the summer, because I think we're all going to want to get out and get going.
Kathy, was that in an email? Someone's asking. Chris Hayes is asking. Christine
It wasn't an email. Going
From
back.
International, yeah.
Yeah, from International.
It came from them.
Maybe we can find it and redistribute that, Beth. And so
I'm looking. I'm sure I have it in my.
Yeah, we're
inbox
actually
right
gonna
now.
use that for a rehearsal. One of the rehearsal nights, we're gonna actually play it for the chorus, because you know they're not gonna play it on their own.
Yeah, that's right.
We're gonna make them.
Right.
But you know, Sandy had so many examples of performances, all kinds, not just barbershop performances, although mostly men's and women's, but different kinds of performances to talk about. She went through all the elements of the way the new category is structured. And it was so great. And she just talked about why she had selected this and what were the kinds of things to look for, as well as the details of the category itself in, more a PowerPoint presentation. But there was so much packed in that when we had the Q&A at the end of the second one, I said to my course, I asked you to unmute so you could actually ask the woman questions. And it was like crickets. And finally, Carol Lee said to me, I'm trying to process all this. I'll probably have questions. I'll probably have questions a week from now, but I have to, and I agreed with her. I had to go back and think. I didn't go to sleep that whole night thinking about all the things that have to happen. I've made my living in Sweet Adelines teaching visuals, and I'm looking at, well, that's not, well, nope, not doing that, nope.
That doesn't work anymore. That's
Yep.
So guys, there was an email on January 8th that went out to all members. It's called New Visual Communications category. That doesn't have the video that Kathy's talking about.
Open it up. It's embedded in the thing.
Yeah.
All I see is a
scroll
judging
down.
Kathy Saunders, yes. Why don't you just forward it to her and what you have. Maybe she's not, maybe it's just showing up that way.
You find it, Betsy?
I got it. Yep.
Okay.
It's embedded in that email.
In that
You just
email,
click
okay,
on
yes.
that and then
They have this like little turquoisey thing that shows up. And there's a comment in the chat from Donna from Boston Skyline. Would we be able to have Sandy for a regional class or have choruses share the time? Probably yes, both. She wouldn't take any money from my chorus the first time. She felt it was her, as she said, her judgely duty. And when I invited her to come back, I really had to sort of twist her arm to say, I said, this is your time and it's worth something. And she said, I don't know what to charge. What are people's charging? So I said, how about $100 sound? And she said, okay, but if you can't afford it, it's okay. I said, no, it's fine. Because I'm
going to take care of that. We will have it as a regional class. And it will be probably that week, Tuesday and Thursday. And of course it'll be recorded. So
I
that
don't think,
those,
Karen, I don't think everybody knows what week you're talking. It's in March.
yeah, I said the last week of March.
Oh,
into
I'm sorry, I
April.
missed that. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. Just so you know, look for it.
Look
I
for
mean,
it.
if I can't get her that week, that would change, but that would be my in and around that time, because I want to make sure it's like there's a month between of events.
Right. And
educational events.
then if you wanted to have her on your own as a chorus, and that would be between you and Sandy, of course, to arrange at a different time. And again, it was extraordinarily affordable, you know, for you're not going to get a coach much anywhere for $100. So,
Go, Bethy, that's it.
Yeah,
you know,
you guys,
or you
I
can
put
share.
the
Yeah,
YouTube
YouTube.
link
That's it.
in the chat here. You
Thank
can
you, Beth.
grab it.
You know, or two choruses could share and have a joint Zoom on a night and split the 100, whatever it is, you know, so you can be, as we've all been talking, creative about how we use our resources and how we educate ourselves. So, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up, sweeters, before we all left.
Yeah.
Before Elvis leaves the room. So,
right. And
yeah.
again, you know, honestly, I am looking to have inspiring education. So if you guys come up with an idea that, or a topic that you think might be great, I really want you to tell me about it. Something that'll get your chorus interested and attentive, what you think they would be interested in. It doesn't have to be typical. I in a way, I want to have some standard solid stuff that we have skill wise, but I'm looking for enlightenment.
Yep.
Because we have heard all the same stuff for years. That's every time when it comes to regionals, I hear, well, we always do this or we always do that. Well, that's because there's always somebody new coming in, and it never hurts to revisit the basic skills. However, there are other things that we can apply, and I'm going to use Gina's ballroom and barbershop and as an example. Is that
was great.
It was about performance. So it may not have been your specific Sweet Adeline basic stuff, but it was applicable. And I think that if we can think of ways to get, I don't care about winning the war. I like to win. I mean, I don't care about winning the battles. I like to win the war. And to me, how can we inspire and enlighten our folks to go back to the basics by showing them what other things can, you know, applying it. So if you think of anything, please email me. And if I can't, if I can find a way to make it work or make it applicable, I will. And I might even just sit on a back burner till it's the right time, but it makes people think. And that's what I want. I want us to make our people think. And I think if they're like my chorus, and I think my chorus is no different than any other Sweet Adeline group, and they are most happy when they are discussing interesting things than blathering on about this and that. They like their brains poked and you know, inspired. So
yeah, and I will say that this little education committee, which expands out to all the different people that are having opportunities to teach, is very much like the new RMT. Is that this little group that we're in, it's 6 of us, I think, Karen, right?
Yeah, 6.
Is also very cohesive. We all are on the same page. We all think the same, differently, but the same general way. And so that's a big benefit. I've been on the education team in the region for a long time, and I have not experienced this much like-mindedness, you know, one for all for one, everybody's idea counts kind of approach. So you're like Valerie just wrote, she has a couple things in mind. Valerie, send Karen and Marion and I, who are here in the room. I don't remember who else is here.
I was just about to type that to you, Valerie, and say,
I just started typing. I'll just say it. Just send it.
Great.
Just send it along. It's great to have all that.
Yes.
Great comments, great questions.
Great day today.
Yeah, everybody, thank you. Thank you all for
so
coming.
much. Thank you.
Stay safe. Take the needle if you get the chance. Take the needle if you get the chance.
March 3rd.